All right, hey everyone, this is devlog number 17. My name is Jay, go by Hele, and I'm gonna InkBlot founder. I'm just gonna jump right into this, okay? So there was a November 15th post that I think everybody saw. It was out in the newsletter, it was on all of our platforms, and so on and so forth. I appreciate and want to give my utmost gratitude to those that responded to it, to those that showed love, to those that reposted it, even just read it. Thank you so much for listening, for reading, and for supporting this company, everyone, every single one of you. That is always truly I'm always thinking about this company every single minute, and you guys are the cause of that, and I just love this community so much. So I want to just say thank you so much for responding to that, and for supporting in any way, if that's just having an account, even if that's just reading, even if that's just reposting, anyway. I truly appreciate that, and so does our team. So that post went over a couple of different things, and we're going to get into it. I know this video is only 10 minutes, but I'm going to just really just kind of get through it and try to make sure that these videos are more frequent to keep you up to date. I'm going to try to do once a week like I usually did way back earlier this year. And that was way more better, so that we can keep these short. But there's so much to go over. Let's just jump right into it. All right, so that November 15th post, that was going over everything, kind of like a call for help, and not kind of, it was. We have a deficit of about 700 a month that we're missing in order to keep the operations flowing and things going. InkBlot has grown so much. The budget seems like it's always moving. Why does it seem like that? Because it's growing. The more people that we have on the site, the more storage, the more users, the more bandwidth, the more everything. It has to grow. The budget has to grow. It is. If you thought that art websites are not a company, then you are wrong, and I'm so sorry to tell you that, but it is a business operation. Okay, I've always ran this as a business and will continue to do so. So the numbers that you see are the numbers that are actually being used and go straight back into the company to fund the team, to fund the website, to fund the application, to fund the storage, the bandwidth, to fund everything, the website domain name, everything, you name it. It goes right back into it. And we're going to go just kind of break that down just a little bit and talk about things that, moving forward to keep the project going, right? All right, so with the November 15th post, it went over just numbers. It was a lot of numbers. The main one being that we are about $700 short of what we want to be, and that is bare minimum. I mean, like scraping the bottle, bare minimum of what we need to keep InkBlot going. And that was just really it. But the main thing was, as our user base grows, our team size needs to grow too. So volunteers, we need volunteers for our moderators, we need volunteers for our community helpers, we need volunteers for our drive and for our funding. That team is relatively new, but that is just what makes InkBlot. These teams are essential, and we have to have these folks in order to keep it going. Why is that, right? Why do we need moderators, right? Well, if you're seeing content that shouldn't be on there, why are you going to use a site that has content that shouldn't be on there? If there's no active moderation, that can tank a website. If there's no community events, if there's no engagement, if there's no community sense of people finding friends, having things going on, then why would you use it? Seems like a ghost town, right? If there's no funding, well, clearly we wouldn't be existing, right? So that's another thing. The drive team, they help with the funding. They do those drives every 3 or 4 months. We need all these teams. The tech support team, just as known as the support team, those folks get paid. We need folks that answer, that respond, that answer questions, generalized or not. They do that. These are all essential teams. Again, if you think that art websites aren't a business, you're wrong. It is a business, and it has to operate as one. These are the few teams that I manage, and the biggest thing in that November 15th post was the fact that I can no longer do this alone. So with all these teams, they have team leaders, right? But it is very hard to divide all my attention to each one that does different things, right? There's always the team leads, they know their process, right? They know what to do and they know how to operate, but there's still some things that at an executive level I have to approve. Still some things that I need to review and I need to kind of go over with the team lead, have meetings, right? So these things have to be done in attention. Just because there's a team lead doesn't mean that I can just totally ignore that team. So the team leads still come to me for certain things, and they need to be responded to in a very timely manner. Only being one person, it definitely is kind of hard, and obviously our group our website has outgrown me as just one person. So I do need other executive level officers at this point. Now, with that, that's about the team. We talked about the numbers. We talked about the user base versus team size. What is the process going to look like for these executive officers, right? So I did have a shout, and I said, for those that are interested, please reach out to me. I do value internal candidates more than external candidates. People that have been working with us, people that have been volunteers, even just people that have been on payroll already. And those are the folks that reached out to me. And I do thank you, and I'm super happy that they did reach out to me. So right now we have about 3 candidates, and 3 candidates is exactly what I need. And that process of inviting those candidates to be an executive officer will be pretty long. It'll take about a year before they're truly official and can be considered on the payroll for the work that they do. But because our company is running as a nonprofit model, we have to do these things it takes a long process, right? And I'm not going to just trust anybody with the keys of the company, whether they're internal or not. Now, I've been working with these folks for over a year now, the candidates that stepped up, and I will have individual meetings with them, but no matter what, it will take at least a year for them to be considered truly no longer intern, but as an executive officer. There will be an interview process. There will be several interviews, and then after that there'll be acting or interim, and then at that point it'll be a year before we actually see any types of voting or type of actual solid position to give to them. Okay, so what are these positions that I'm looking for? I'm looking for a CMO and CFO. Chief of Funding, Chief Financial Officer, and Chief Marketing Officer, and then also a COO, so Chief of Operations, right? These are all, or Chief of Operations Officer, whatever. So these are all positions that I need to fill. Still being the CEO, the one that calls is the final say on things. As you already know, I do have a lot of final say on things. Hopefully I've been pushing things in the right direction, since I'm only an advocate, or I only listen to the community that has been created with InkBlot. But these are the other 3 spots that I need in order to help have coverage over the teams. And we'll get into that, but that's essentially what it's going to be looking like. I just want to give everybody an update on what those are. It did say co-founder, but I think having a kind of board is much more better, rather than just 2 solid people running an operation. Having a board is kind of what a nonprofit organization does. Since we're only a model, we're doing it as a model, since an LLC is not a nonprofit, and it's really hard to become a nonprofit once you're an LLC. So that's kind of how we're going to do things, staying as an LLC and just operating as a nonprofit. So having a board is much better. Having more executive officers will help this out immensely, and help us go in the right direction. So other than that, I'm going to make these devlogs public. So this will probably be the first one on our YouTube. I'll be uploading the other ones shortly, kind of on a regular basis, just to catch up, since there is 16 other videos. I'll still be posting them on Patreon and Ko-Fi. I'll still be doing Ko-Fi and stuff, incentives. But for the most part, we are going to kind of switch to a more public, more transparent, even though we're very, very transparent, and more, just not having these devlogs behind a paywall, because this is a community-funded company. Things with Instar, I am going to try to work on that myself, get that up and going. I was away for a little bit after that post since I had top surgery, but hey, I'm back. I'm going to try to get that up and running since that is definitely a part of our business model. If you were a Kickstarter backer, that was definitely on there, and reasons why I am super stoked to try to get that up and running. I am running out of time, so I will post another video hopefully midweek, but if not, at least once a week.